Hello friends, today I have come here for the second video of our civil service series. So this is Prashant Kumar Sahu, your friend for civil services. Today we are going to discuss about Odisha Public Service Commission and Odisha Civil Services. So as you read the thumbnail, and gradually you will see different procedures, processes, the eligibility criteria, and all nitty-gritties of OPSC. So let me introduce myself. As I said, I am Prashant Kumar Sahu. About my education background, I did my post-graduation in anthropology from Utkal University in 2011. Then I did my MPhil in anthropology from Delhi University in 2016. And currently also I am doing PhD in anthropology from Utkal University. About little bit my self promotion, I have been a state topper in intermediate, that is plus 2. Also I got rank 17th. Then I also cleared UGC NET JRF in 2012. Then also I cracked Assistant Central Intelligence Officer in IB, conducted by MHA, Ministry of Home Affairs in 2014. Then I also appeared in 3 PSC Mains 2014, 15, 16. Then I also cleared Odisha Education Service in 2017. Then I also cleared Odisha Civil Services in 2018 with the rank of 28th. And I got selected for Odisha Police Service. Currently I am in teaching profession with more than 5 years of teaching experience. About my academic achievements, some 3-4 articles have been published by me, and one book is also published by me. I also write, contribute articles to the National Daily, The Pioneer. Previously, I also guided many IS and OS aspirants and also some NET JRF students. So today we are going to discuss about Odisha Civil Services. So if you aspire to join Odisha Civil Services like OS, OFS or OPS, so this is the right place and right platform where you can gain knowledge and also you can get experience about the nitty-gritties and details of Odisha Civil Services. So in this video you will come to know all the know-hows of Odisha Civil Services, different services, which is very important because many students though they aspire for civil services but they don't know different services, because in Odisha Civil Services you have Group A services and Group B services, which are later discussed in these videos, and different exam patterns. This is the basis of this video. So if you see the basic qualifications of Odisha Civil Services, as we discussed in the previous video, and also let me add, who have not seen the previous video, it is a request to you, kindly see our first video, which is about a general introduction on EPSC. You can view the general pattern in EPSC, and this is very similar to also Odisha Civil Services. So the basic qualification of Odisha Civil Services is that an aspirant or a candidate must have a bachelor's degree in any discipline, which should be recognized from any university in India. And also he must have completed 21 years of age by 1st January of that year. And which is very important, basically this is important for some state civil services, which are the states which are language based, like in Odisha. So a candidate who aspire to join Odisha Civil Service, he must be able to read, write and speak Odia. Because an aspirant who is not very fluent in Odia, or who cannot write or who cannot read and speak Odia, he cannot deal with the people of Odisha, because ultimately he is going to deal with the people of Odisha. So he must have knowledge in both its script and others language. The details are given in OPSC website. You can check www.opsc.gov.in. The details are given there. About the age limit, an aspirant should have the age between 21 to 32 years of age of 1st January of that year for general candidates, but there are some relaxations, like there are relaxations up to 5 years for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, SCBC, women and ex-servicemen. So a relaxation up to 5 years is given to them for this category of students, while there is a 10 years age relaxation for physically handicapped students. And about attempts, see, here is the difference between UPSC and OPSC. In UPSC, you have seen that there are 6 attempts for general candidates, 9 attempts for OBC students, and for SC/ST it is unlimited. But there is a time-bound age up to which age one can apply UPSC. But in OPSC or in Odisha Civil Services, there only maximum attempt is 4 for general candidates, while it is 7 in case of SCBC or social and educational backward caste, while it is unlimited. That is, the number of attempts is unlimited for SC and ST students, but within 37 years of age. So what I mean is that from 21 up to 37 years of age, the attempts are unlimited, but within this year he or she have to write OPSC, but there is unlimited attempts. So if you calculate around 16 attempts he can give in Odisha Civil Services. However, as we discussed, what is the ultimate target or the aim of the aspirant in preparing and joining Odisha Civil Service? The target should be to crack Odisha Civil Service in very fast attempt, so that a selected candidate, he or she, he could have more years in government service, and accordingly the promotional aspect will be more. So if some of my friends who joined UPSC at the age of 22 and 23, they have a maximum chance of becoming the cabinet secretary of the Republic of India, because they have around 37 or 38 years in government service. Similarly, in Odisha Civil Service also, if a candidate joins at the age of 22 or 23, so maximum is that he can go up to special secretary or some higher ranks in different departments of government person. So this is all about basic qualifications about the civil services. Now let's see. Still, suppose as we discussed, still we have not discussed the processes. So you have to see the video up to last, so that if you are still in confusion about what is the process, the details, so now it is the time. So OPSC process starts with 3 stages. Like UPSC, we have here also 3 stages. Stage 1 is preliminary exam. It is a multiple choice question based objective type question. Stage 2 or second stage is mains, which is essay or subjective type like UPSC, and stage 3 is personality test or viva, which is for oral type. So it is very similar to UPSC. About the timing, here little bit I can say some divergence found from UPSC. Like in UPSC, you have seen the notice comes in February, then prelim occurs in maximum in May and June, then the process continues. But in OPSC, because in maximum state pieces, what happens is that there is no regularity. However, I am very happy that OPSC is continually doing its exams since last 5-6 years. So but timing, there is no regularity, but still once the notification comes, which is not very fixed in state pieces, same with OPSC, but once notification comes, generally between notification and prelim, because you have form fill up time, around 2-3 months goes by with this period. So after notification up to prelim, there is maximum 2 to 3 months period time. So if a student wants to prepare within that time he can start preparing. Once prelim occurs, then between prelim and mains there is a 3-4 months gap period. Then similarly, once mains happens, and around in case of OPSC it is around 6 to 7 months, because there are 2 optionals. We'll discuss in next slide. because there are two options. So OPSC intimates to the professors and senior bureaucrats. So it takes around 6 to 7 months. Then once the subjective answer question is checked, and the next stage is for Viva, and after 7 to or 6 to 7 months, this personality test is conducted, and once personality test is conducted, after 3-4 days, the final result is given. So the whole process, maximum to maximum, it takes around 1 year or 1.2 to 3 months in case of Odisha Civil Services. Next, we will discuss one by one the different stages of Odisha Civil Services. So first is, as we discussed, it is OPSC preliminary exam. It is objective, MCQ based objective type. There are 2 papers. In prelim, it is a one-day exam, one-day period exam. So there are 2 papers, and accordingly there are 2 sittings. In first sitting, you have GS paper 1, like it is exactly like UPSC. So in GS paper 1, the question will be framed from general knowledge, from Indian polity, history, economy, geography, science day, current affair, so on and so forth. And in the same day, that is in the prelim day, there is a second sitting. And in second sitting, you have GS paper 2. It is basically a qualifying paper. As I have written here, it's a basically qualifying paper where a candidate needs to have at least 33% of full marks. That is, it earns around 66 marks. So, if a candidate, if he has 66 marks out of 200, then only the paper of GS1 will be evaluated. And based on GS paper 1, the merit list is calculated, or it is published by OPSC board. So once your paper 2 or GS paper 2 is okay, then definitely, and if you do good in GS paper 1, there is maximum chance of being selected in prelim. So it is clear now. Now we will go to stage 2. As I said, after 2 to 3 months or 4 months, OPSC mains happens. Now we'll see OPSC mains and EPSC mains. Now here there are basic differences. Basically, the current framework of OPSC mains, now what is the trend in OPSC, it happens to be what used in UPSC some 7-8 years back. Like in before 2013, there are 2 optionals, 2 GS papers and essay paper. So that pattern has been continuing in OPSC mains. So what are the subjects in OPSC mains? There are basically there are 2 types of subjects. One is main subject and one is and other is qualifying subjects. Like in UPSC, here also 2 qualifying subjects, but the qualifying subject here in OPSC is only 2. There are no alternatives. That is English and Odia. It is compulsory for all. But in UPSC, as we have discussed in previous video, you have seen that one is English, the second is Odia or Marathi, Bengali, Hindi, the mother tongue as per the mother tongue. But in OPSC mains, the qualifying papers are only English and Odia. As I have mentioned that if a candidate compares the qualifying papers of UPSC and OPSC, the OPSC mains qualifying papers are very difficult. As I found, basically the Odia paper. So it's a request to all the aspirants who are preparing for OPSC mains or civil services. Please kindly go through the compulsory qualifying papers, because there are so many candidates who have failed in qualifying papers, basically in English and Odia, because the paper setter, he has the mentality is that because it's a regional based state PCS, so the candidate must be very fluent in its native language as well as English. So the candidates who qualify in these compulsory papers, English and Odia, their scripts will be evaluated for main subject, and the marks of qualifying subjects are not included. It is only qualifying nature, but you should score at least 35% combiningly. Out of 300, you should keep 90 is the pass mark. But when you combine out of 300 plus 300 is 600. So out of 600, a general candidate must have 210 marks. Then only the scripts of main subject will be evaluated. But there are some relaxation for SCSS candidates as usual. Now, if you see the main subject, now here is the divergence between UPSC mains and OPSC mains. In OPSC mains, there are two optionals. Like as I've given, when I was appearing in OPSC mains, I had two optionals. Optional one, I kept anthropology as my mother discipline, and geography, because I love geography so much. So a candidate has to keep two optionals. So one optional has two papers, that is 4 papers, and GS paper, GS study, it is also 2 papers. So GS1, GS2, 300 each is equal to 600 marks. Optional 1, 2 papers, 300 each is equal to 600 marks. Optional 2, 2 papers, 300 each is equal to 600 marks, and one essay paper. One essay paper carries 200 marks. So if you calculate the total marks of OPSC mains, it is around 2000 marks. But in UPSC, because the pattern is little bit changed and it is different, there it is around 750. So this is the overall diagram or the details of OPSC mains. Basic thing is that here you have two optionals, unlike UPSC where it is only one optional. Now, which I was discussing. In Odisha Civil Services, optional plays a very major role. That is not the case in UPSC, because as I said, in UPSC there is only one optional and 4 GS papers. But in OPSC, you have 2 optionals. So maximum, the coaching institutes and the candidates itself know that if they majorly focus on optionals, they have a maximum chance of being selected. So as it reads, why it is important? First is 2 optionals, so carrying 300 into 4, 1200 marks. You got to know how it is. 2 optional, 4 paper. Each paper carries 300 marks. So 300 into 4 is equal to 1200 marks. So aspirants who are very comfortable and compatible in 2 optionals, like because anthropology was my main subject in my graduation subject, so I was very comfortable in that. And my second optional was geography, because I loved it very much. So I scored good marks in my OPSC mains. So the candidates who are very comfortable in optionals, so they can fetch more marks, and that can have a better edge or advantage over other aspirants. Now, which optional to opt, which options to keep, we'll share in next upcoming videos for OPSC and UPSC also. So now you got to know this. Also, second reason is that because GS papers of OCS or Odisha Civil Service, it is very more or less static. If you see the previous year questions of OPSC GS papers and UPSC GS papers, UPSC GS papers have been very dynamic, because it's a pan-India recruiting agency, so GS paper has to be very dynamic in UPSC. But if you see OPSC GS papers, it is not that it is not dynamic, but it is very the questions, the trends of questions you didn't see that. It happens to be the old pattern, like direct questions from political science books or basics in from economics or history, direct questions. But in UPSC mains, like in GS paper 2, that is the Indian polity paper, you cannot find direct questions from books. So the nature becomes very dynamic. Third reason is that questions of GS papers in Odisha Civil Service, they are very abundant in nature. Like in UPSC papers, you have 20 questions in each paper, and some 12.5 marks or 15 marks, like that in UPSC mains. But in OPSC mains, you have 1 marker, 2 marker, 3 markers, 5 markers, 10 markers, 20 markers. So the number of questions become very massive, and you need to attempt them all. Otherwise, there will be a negative impression that the students have left some questions, so he doesn't know in these questions. So this is one thing. And that too, you have to finish in time. My experience sharing, when I wrote, I left so many questions in GS paper 2. I did not get time for that. So because the number of questions are large in OPSC means you need to finish them all. And also the point is that it doesn't mean that you would neglect GS papers, because I said there are 2 optionals, so you should majorly focus on optionals. It's not like that. You should also focus on GS papers, but emphasis should be on optionals. Then now we have seen our stage 2 of OPSC means. The next stage, that is personality test or Viva. Like it is similar with UPSC, but the marks here are different. In UPSC means we have seen the marks are 275 marks, but in OPSC means it is in OPSC interview or OPSC Viva it is 250 marks. And I should say in 2018 when I was appearing for OPSC Viva, I scored 3rd highest and also fast among the males. I scored around 220 like that from 250. So full mark is 250. And you know about personality test or Viva, we'll share the details in upcoming videos, but some basic briefings I can give you. Like when I was appearing there in the board, there are 3 experts in the board. They ask me different questions. Basically, they ask you from your optional subjects, your biodata. So experts, the number of experts are 3, but it is up to the commission how many board members they can have. It is up to the commission. They can decide it. And the basic question: what they look in you in every Viva, like public or private? What they look in you, or what qualities they judge in you, is that your attitude, your behavior, your mentality, personality, your perception in different socioeconomic events, your understanding in different environmental issues, and so on. And basic is that you must have a thorough idea about different local issues. This is very also important because you are appearing in a state civil service. So you must have basic understanding and knowledge in local issues. Like in Odisha, we have poverty, unemployment, mining issues, river, interstate river issues. So these areas you should be thorough in that while facing OPSC personality test or Viva. Also about your biodata, we'll discuss in upcoming videos about how to face personality test. But basic is that from where you belong, your hometown, your village, your home district, birthplace, all you need to be thorough on these areas. My experience has been very nice and interactional because as I said, I scored 3rd highest and also first highest among the males. So I should say my interview had I was very satisfied in my interview. There is a constant interaction between me and my board members. Also, how you should dress, your attire, all this will be sharing in upcoming videos. So don't worry for that. Next, here I should also share some marks of the topper. Here it is given around the marks of toppers of 2009 batch. My next batch. You should see the rank 1, who scored rank 1. See the GS1, he scored 192, and GS2 he scored 199, and he kept 2 optionals, psychology and home science. I think he scored very good in psychology. You could see here out of 300 he scored 255, and in paper 2 he scored 265. It is very good mark. Really exceptional numbers. Also in second optional home science, he scored 202 in paper 1 and 193 in paper 2. And in essay he scored 120, as I said, out of 200. So mains total is 1426. And Viva he scored 130. I think it is very less. Maybe the trend has been towards lowering number. So the total marks you could see 1556 total marks. So he got rank 1, right? Another thing you guys must have noticing, in previous video, I said that in UPSC the total mark is 225, including mains and interview. And the topper used to score around 50%, so around 1000, something like that. But here we OPSC, you should be noticing the toppers are scoring around 1500, 1400, 50 plus. Here you see the topper has scored 1556. So it is around 75 or like that, 75 like that. So the scoring, the trend of scores among the toppers, happens to be very large. Likewise, you can see the rank 2, rank 3, rank 4, rank 4. It's a it is given for a sample sample design. So you can see how the toppers are scoring. You can see from this, and accordingly you can prepare for different stages of OPSC. Now we have come to the services, which is very important. You should know what are the different services in OCS. But about the detailing, we will share in upcoming videos. But here a brief understanding has been given. In Odisha Civil Services, there are basically two types of services: Group A and Group B. The Group A has been called a junior branch, but these are class 1 or Group A. What are the three? Odisha Administrative Service OS, Odisha Police Service OPS, and Odisha Finance Service OFS. These are the Group A or class 1 services in Odisha Civil Services. So, the pay scale, in the right side it is given. In the pay scale, whatever an OS officer is getting at the entry level is equal to the entry level pay scale of an IS officer also. But then there are IS candidates, they get better promotion and easier on time bound promotion. But in OS or in state civil services, promotional aspect, it is good, but it is not time bound. Some there are some irregularities found. So in if you see the services, Group A services, there are three services: OS, OPS, and OFS. And in Group A there are some large number of services, like here I have enumerated around 7 or 6. It is Odisha Revenue Service ORS, Odisha Cooperative Services, Odisha Education Service 2. This is OES 2. OES 1 we will discuss in next video about OES 1. We will give a special video on OES, Odisha Education Service, OES 1. So this is Odisha Education Service 2. That is the candidates who will be qualifying in Odisha Education Service, they will be recruited as BO, Block Education Officer, then DO, District Education Officer, like that. Then you have Odisha Taxation and Account Service. Then you have Odisha Employment Service, then Odisha Labour Service, Odisha Welfare Service. So these are Group B services. So in Group A you have majorly 3 services. In Group B there are around 7 to 8 or 9. I have given here, for example, I have given some 7 services. Pay scale is definitely basically 2 types of pay scale. One is 56,100 pay scale, and second is 44,900 pay scale. These are the for Group B, and 56 is for Group A. On pay scale and different services about their what they do after getting selected, when they enter into different services, about their basic salary, perks and service conditions, we'll see in the next videos. Now this is very important. So what are the uniquenesses of OCS? I have seen, you don't imagine, I have seen some candidates. I have seen a candidate from Tamil Nadu. He's from a lady from Tamil Nadu. She got IS, but she got a different state cadre. She left IS and she joined the state civil service. I don't know, it is about own perception, but also there are some candidates who are preferring state services. So here you will come to know what are the uniquenesses. First is, you are a state cadre officer being recruited by State Cadre Commission or state-based commission. So what are the major benefit you will get? Throughout your life, you will be staying in the state of Odisha. This is your motherland, this is your home state. So if you are clearing the Odisha Civil Services, you will be staying in Odisha itself up to your retirement or up to your service in government. You will be staying in Odisha because you being recruited by UPSC. And I have seen, and this is also my personal feeling, is that because so many friends, my friends, they are joining OPS and OFS. When I ask them whether they prefer UPSC or OPSC, if one gets UPSC, it is a good thing. But another argument is that the candidates who are joining, after being selected, who are joining this different department or services, argument is that they feel very proud to serve their own people. See, you are being recruited by OPSC. You are a resident of this state. Odisha is your home state. So when you get into service in your own state, so you feel very proud, because that is what I feel. I feel that I am serving my own people. I am not serving some other states or people of other states. So this feeling, the we feeling in only in that particular state, it is very good. So you can feel proud for that, serving your own people. And also another issue, or sorry, not issue, it is a good thing. No language issue. Suppose a candidate is being selected UPSC by UPSC and he has been posted in Kerala or Tamil Nadu. I am not saying that basic on languages you should not prepare for UPSC. You should, but once you join in OCS, Odisha Civil Service, there is no language issue. Because why? Because you talk in Odia. The people to whom you serve, to whom you are providing the services, they are also Odia people. So there is no language issue. So the interaction process is very good. Whatever you say, they will get it, and whatever the grievances they will say, you also receive it. So there is no language issue. This is one of the fantastic point in joining, your state services or Odisha Civil Services. Next is about good promotional aspect. For this, I have given this, logo symbols of police service, because police service is a better manifestation of the services. Out of 3 group A services, police service is better manifestation, or it is very better visible, or better better example to make you understand. Like I have said, good promotional aspect. See, if a candidate is joining as an OPS officer like me, I joined and I left. Once he or she joins as an OPS officer, see the top badge written is OPS, so it is Odisha Police Service. Whatever the entry level of an OPS officer and the entry level of an IPS officer is same. Please make it clarify or make it sure that the entry level of IPS and OPS is very same. Only thing is that in their badge it will be written IPS and in here it is written OPS. But 3 stars they will be given in the entry level. But what happens is that once they enter, IPS guys, the promotion is very fast. Like only 1 to 2 years they will be around SDPO, and then directly they will be promoted to SP of any particular district. But what happens in OPS, from SDPO or DSP level cadre, they will be promoted to additional SP or ASP. But these IPS guys, they don't promoted, they don't go for ASP or additional SP. From direct DSP level or SDPO level, they will be promoted to SP. But because it is state cadre officers, so those candidates who are joining OPS, first they will be SDPO or DSP level for 5-6 years, then they will be promoted to additional SP, ASP. Then after staying in that service for 3 to 4 years, they will be promoted to SP level. But here you see in the second logo, that is badge, it is written OPS, but when they promoted from DSP to additional SP, that Ashok Stamp, it is there in the badge. And in the latter part, see in the lower picture, these badges, in all badges it is written IPS. You must have seen. So my point is that the state services, like I'm giving you here the example of Odisha Police Service, it is not bad. You join as an OPS officer, so there is very good promotional aspect. Suppose, and I am saying, suppose you join at the age of 22 or 23, take my word, he or she maybe can go up to ADG level, Additional Director General of Police. Maybe that maximum chance. But if you are joining around 25, 26, or if you have 30 to 32 years of service up to your retirement, so maximum is that you can go up to IG. Okay. So the point is that in the uniqueness we are discussing, there is a good promotional aspect. Next, as I said, you can be promoted to IS and OPS. IPS. So the candidates who are joining as OS, they can be promoted to IS, and the candidates who are joining as OPS, they can be promoted up to IPS level. So there are also chances. And another thing, which also you should feel proud, is that there are good opportunities to work at grassroots level. So like IPS guys who join in different state cadres, they do serve in the grassroots level, but because the promotion is very faster. So from like an IPS who is an IS who is joining as SDM or Subordinate Magistrate, then PDDRDA, then directly he promotion to collector. But that doesn't happen in case of OS. So an OS officer who joins in the entry level, he or he may be BDO or Tahsildar. Then after 8 to 9 years, he or she will be promoted to SDM. Then from SDM, he or she would go to ADM or PDDRDA, then collector. So the process is a little bit lengthy, and it might take 15 to 20 years. But in these 20 years, you have ample opportunities to work at grassroots level. So this is a good thing. This is a very good thing to serve your own people. So today we have discussed and we have seen different the patterns of OPSC and the different services. In the next upcoming videos, we will see different promotional aspect of Odisha Civil Service, and interesting things that you have to you will see the different academies where the training academies after getting selected of this OPSC. We'll see different academic, and it is very interesting because this academic life you will feel once you join, you will feel very energetic and patriotic joining this academy. So I think today a general understanding has been given to you about OPSC, its 3 stages, different services. So I think it will be sufficient for you to know it. In the next upcoming videos, we will share the details, optionals of both UPSC and OPSC.
Like, share and subscribe our
Like,
channel.
share and comment our channel for this type of video.